Good afternoon. Thank you so much for joining us today. My name is Shelly Meharry. I'm President and CEO of the Community Foundation of Johnson County. Really excited to be able to share with our nonprofit community something that we've been working on for some time, which is having an additional opportunity to engage Johnson County donors in supporting nonprofit work happening right here at home. So this is the launch of our nonprofit session for the Giving Catalog, and we're really excited to have all of you with us today. It's no better way to kick off the giving season than to have an exciting new opportunity to connect donors with all of your work here in the community. Just wanted to give a shout out to my team who's all on the call today. Julie Yoder is our Vice President of Finance. Hey, Julie.
Hello.
Ellie Moore is our Vice President of Community Impact and Outreach. Hey, Ellie. She may not. She's got a scratchy voice today, so she's with us. Ann Barber is our Director of Philanthropy, and Ann's going to take over the presentation for me here in a moment, but we also have Cassie Krippus, who is on the call too. So we were fortunate to be able to have many of you join us at our nonprofit community celebration that we held at the end of October. In some regards, it feels like that was a while ago, but it was just a couple weeks ago where we actually launched our nonprofit the launch of the Giving Catalog that would be coming. So if you could put in the chat for us your name, organization, and how you heard about the Giving Catalog. We've got some information on our website, but we did launch it at our community celebration. So happy to hear how everyone learned about that. And if we jump to the next slide, I'll just review the agenda and I'm going to turn it over to Ann. So we'll be talking about what the Giving Catalog is, how our nonprofit organizations will be able to partner with us to put their information on the Giving Catalog, information about timelines, the grant cycles, how to submit your requests, and we'll have plenty of time for question and answer so we can make sure that we address all of the needs that you might have. So I think I'll turn it over to Ann.
Hi, thanks, Shelly. Okay, so we'll talk a little bit about what the Giving Catalog is and then get down a little bit more into the nitty-gritty of how you all can use it and best take advantage of this new tool. So the Giving Catalog is a new donor tool that we have put together that allows donors to really find out a little bit more about the programs that nonprofits in Johnson County are offering and some of the important work that you're doing in a way that's easily accessible to donors and creates sort of a collective impact by pooling money. It also, a lot of giving catalogs are a year-end thing, but this will be a year-round giving initiative. And it just allows us to better share the community's needs with our donors and sort of align their interests with the work that you all are doing. Next slide, thank you. Okay, so timelines and cycles. We will be running 2 cycles each year. They'll be from July to December and January to June. However, you can request to join at any time. So for example, if you wanted, if we're in the middle of the July to December cycle and it's October and you decide you would like to submit a program to the Giving Catalog, you can do so. It'll still end in December, but you can join at any time. Likewise, donors can make gifts at any time, but you will receive the money at the end of the cycle. So that'll either be December or June, depending on which cycle you're in. And the request can be up to $10,000. We will accept gifts of any amount, up to $10,000. If there's a donor who wants to give more than $10,000 or more than what's left in the request, we will help facilitate that, but it might not be through this because there'll be a cutoff at $10,000 on the online giving portal, which we'll look at here in just a few minutes. Making a request. So this is a screenshot of the actual giving catalog. This is what it will look like if a donor clicks on your particular request. You can see that there's the grant amount requested. You can request up to $10,000. You can also request you can make one request per grant cycle. We ask that these are for program support only, not for operational support. And I'll get a little bit more into why and how you can write your request so that it appeals to folks in just a minute. And then you will be able to make this request through an online form, which is right here under, yep, thank you, Ellie. Under giving catalog. Is that right, Ellie? It says grants catalog here. Is it giving catalog?
Yes, that has been updated. We pulled the screen grab too early.
Right. So this says the arrow, the top arrow is pointing to grants catalog. This actually on our website says giving catalog, but you can make a request by clicking on this giving catalog, green link at the top. Next slide. Thank you. And then you will just click make a request to fill out the request form. And once we've processed that, then it will go up on the giving catalog site for donors to see. This is pretty straightforward. This is what the request form looks like. And this is where you can fill out the name of your project, the amount that you want to request up to 10,000, and a short description. You know, in terms of what we suggest in terms of the description. Sorry, Ellie, is this a future slide too? I might wait to get into that until just a second.
Yes, best practices is a future.
Okay, we'll get to best practices in a second.
But as you're looking at this form, this description is what we will basically copy paste into the giving catalog itself for donors to see. So when you're writing this part, and we'll talk a little bit later about how to write it, but know that this is like copy paste the information we're using to fill out the website.
Exactly. Thank you, Ellie. And then submit. And you can submit a photo of your logo. You can submit a photo of programming taking place, anything that you want that you think speaks to your request. Okay. Okay. Best practices. So this is your chance. Your request is your chance to speak to our donors directly. So we suggest that you make a direct ask, you know, tell them exactly what it is that you need. Keep it fairly short. There is a character limit, but our website will be full of these. And as we know, people only want to read so much. So you don't want to draw it out too much and lose them. But this is really your chance to tell the story about your organization or about individual programming. You know, this is your chance maybe to pull at people's heartstrings a little bit, so you can tell a story here. And then this is meant to supplement your fundraising efforts. We don't suggest that this is, you know, your only fundraising, but this is to help sort of your overall fundraising efforts. And then stewarding the gifts. So donors, when they make a gift to your request, they will get a thank you and a acknowledgement of their gift from us immediately. You will see the list of donors at the end of the cycle. And then at that point, you'll be able to thank them or steward them in any way that you find necessary. Can you go to the next slide, Ellie? Great. Okay, these are just a few questions that we anticipated. Gifts through the giving catalog do not qualify for the Endow Iowa tax credit. At this time, none of the requests that are up on our site are for endowed accounts, and so they're not eligible. There could be a chance that someone would have gifts directed to an endowed fund, but we don't anticipate that happening. Like I said, donors will receive tax deduction information and sort of a thank you from us at the time the gift's made. You will see all those at the end. When Julie cuts you a check, you'll see the list of donors at that time. We will not be we will not be marketing specific requests. We will share the giving catalog as a whole, but you are welcome to share this to any of your social media or any of your communications with your networks, and that might be a good way to spread the news about the giving catalog and about your specific requests. Cash and check gifts will be uploaded to the website. So obviously someone can go onto the website and make a gift with a credit card. If they want to make a gift with a check or cash, they'll be able to do so. They can send it to us and just in the memo line or in a note say that this is for the giving catalog, and we will make sure that that dollar amount is reflected in your total on the website. And I think I mentioned this before, but the request cannot be overfunded. If a donor wants to make a gift that's larger than the amount that you requested, we will help them do that. It just won't be able to be through the giving catalog. Okay, questions?
As you're formulating a couple questions, I do want to just add one more piece, and that's really about why we are hosting this on our site. So we at the Community Foundation always do our annual grants every year, right? We do this grant cycle. We get in all of your applications, all this great information about the work that you're doing. And we do marry that with our donor advised funds already. Many of you are aware of that. We share what you're doing with those donors and try to get some additional funding for you. But we know at the end of that cycle that we're sitting on a lot of information about community need, about what your specific needs are in that moment. And we want to make sure we have a tool year round to be able to be sharing those things with our current donors and with donors outside of that. So that's really kind of the impetus of why we started thinking about how we could use this tool, how this could work for both our donors and for you nonprofits. So really kind of that's where it started, right? And it's an easy way to give, easy way for younger donors to give. So a good place to kind of link folks in who might be younger and are familiar with the online giving tools, familiar with the GoFundMes, familiar with those Kickstarter pages. So a way for us to be sharing the community needs with donors. That's kind of where we feel like this fits. And we're just here to support what you're doing. So hopefully it feels like a good tool for you all as well. But happy to answer any questions you might have. Yes, Jenny, there's a question in the chat about the difference between program and operational support. So we really see operational support as kind of that capacity building support, check made just to the organization for anything that you might need to use it for. These requests we'd like to be program support, so specifically for a project or program that you are hosting that is for your Johnson County folks. So that might be, a specific training you're doing. That might be supplies and materials for programs you run for your clients. Kind of more the external facing your programmatic supplies rather than salaries for your staff, rather than rent, that kind of thing. It's also something that we've decided to do program specific because it feels like a better fit for our donors who are looking for this type of support, and an easier way to make your case on specific items you might need within that just $10,000 range. Does that answer your question, Jenny? Hopefully that's good to go. When can nonprofits begin making requests? So as of today, post this webinar, we are happy to take requests. So that button, that blue make a request button on our website is live, and you are able to enter a request for your organization as soon as we hop off the call today.
Sorry. I would just also add, the sooner, if you have a request that you want posted, the sooner you can get it to us, the better. We're going to be pushing this out during the giving season. Also think about, Giving Tuesday. We're not pushing Giving Tuesday as an event, but we know that people will be thinking about making charitable gifts on Giving Tuesday, and this could be a one-stop shop for the community to review needs. So we would love to see you added to the list. One other point I wanted to make sure that I make is that any nonprofit serving Johnson County is welcome to have a request on our site. You don't have to have a fund with us necessarily, but the work that you're doing must specifically benefit Johnson County residents. So your program that you're requesting needs to benefit Johnson County residents.
Thanks, Shelley. Another caveat, we did indicate the cycles would be until December and then starting again in January. This first cycle is going to be different. So we have a group of pilot orgs already up on the website. This cycle will go all the way through to July. So this first one starts now, but is kind of the, January to June cycle. We've just extended it. So it's one continuous cycle for the first one. So don't feel like if you put a request in now, it will only go until December. This time around, we'll go all the way until July and then start the new cycle over. But there was a question in the chat about that. We are limited to just one request per cycle per organization. So think through what you want that request to be before you enter it. Are there communication resources available to share the program genuinely? Yes and no. So there's a little bit on our website. Obviously, you can take language from that. We are working on a one-pager to be able to get out to you all that you can share with your donors as well. So that is in the works, but not quite ready for you. Let's see. Is this different from a holiday giving guide? Yes. This is a year-round resource that is live all the time for donors to interact with. New requests can be put up at any time. It's not just for the end of year. So anytime throughout the year, this will be up and live for donors and you to utilize, and is just kind of a general listing of current nonprofit needs rather than just end of year gifts. Other questions? Hopefully I answered everything from the chat.
So I'm not sure if I missed this or not, but so say an organization puts up a request requesting $3,000 for a program and it gets fully funded. If it gets fully funded, we will, cut the check and send it to the organization right away. If something gets fully funded, it's only, it'll just run through its cycle. If it's, a situation where it hasn't been fully funded yet, we'll have the option to, cut the check and end the campaign, or you can let it continue to be on the site, or, you can evaluate if there's maybe a different program that you feel might appeal more to donors. So you have lots of flexibility, but certainly the moment your request would happen to be fully funded, we're going to get those dollars to you so you can work on that project.
All right. Any other questions for us? Super. Well, you know how to get a hold of us if you have any additional remaining questions or see anything funky as you go through the online form. But we appreciate you being with us today to learn a little more about the Giving Catalog. We're excited to see how it goes, and excited to see what requests you all put in. So thanks for being here.